What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. A few days ago, or a few weeks ago by the time you're watching this, I put up a poll asking what if mini you guys wanted me to do next. And one of the options was this one, giving Piccolo Kaioken. There's a reason that this is a what if mini. And it's not a bad reason. It's actually a very, very good thing. You'll see what I mean as this video goes on. So, can Piccolo getting Kaioken really affect the story that much? Well, we'll be finding that out today. For this video, we'll set a like goal of 3,500 likes. This video is only going to be covering Dragon Ball Z. If we do hit that like goal though, I'll consider doing one about Super. As long as there's enough interest there, I will continue this, and make it a two-parter. Anyways, let's begin this scenario. So this might not seem like much, but giving more power to one of the most intelligent and pragmatic fighters in a realistic way will really impact the story. And this isn't even that far out of reach. It's not something absurd like giving Piccolo Super Saiyan or whatever, something impossible. No, this is definitely possible, and it could still happen for all we know. As I mentioned, we'll be covering Z only, and this is going to start around after the time Trunks shows up. Once he shows up and tells everyone about the androids, Piccolo is interested in different types of training. Of course, he's going to be training regardless to prepare for the androids, but he's interested in Kaioken after seeing Goku use it. Goku hasn't been using it much anymore. Ever since he got Super Saiyan, he's more so focused on that. But Piccolo thinks he can make this work for himself. Kaioken does seem very draining, but he has an advantage. Besides the fact that Kaioken is pretty draining on stamina, there's also the fact that it'll literally tear your body apart. Goku's always sore after using it, depending on what level he uses. He could either be in immense pain, to the point where he can't even move anymore, or at the very least, even at a low level, it's definitely going to do some damage to his muscles and hurt him a bit. Piccolo might not have that problem. As a Namekian, he can regenerate, and he can regenerate pretty efficiently by now. Of course, it's not like he can do this infinitely. Regeneration does lower his stamina a bit, but with Kaioken, it'll be at such small levels that it might not even matter. And if anything, this will also help him practice regeneration. He'll be killing two birds with one stone. Getting Kaioken will make him stronger, he'll be able to practice it, and he'll be able to get better at regeneration. Actually, you know what? I guess it's three birds with one stone. Even better than he considered before. So, he goes up to Kami. He has a request, more so a demand. He wants Kami to send him to King Kai again. He was already there before, and King Kai definitely would welcome him. And he kind of wishes he learned more about this while he was there. He did learn a little bit about it while he was on that planet. At least in the scenario, we're going to go with that story. But now, he actually needs to learn how to use it. And King Kai is actually very welcoming of Piccolo. Piccolo is one of the strongest people besides the Saiyans. Actually, outside of the Saiyans, he is the strongest. And with his unique physiology compared to everyone else, he definitely will be a good student there. Crossing Snake Way is no issue for him. By now, the characters are so fast that this would probably take minutes, not even. And King Kai's impressed with how quickly he made it there. But he's not going to go easy with the training. He wants Piccolo to train as hard as possible for this. When he taught Goku it, Goku was at a much lower level starting. He couldn't even handle the gravity of the planet. But Piccolo's already used to this gravity here. He was already on the planet before, after all. And with how high his power is by now, King Kai wants a more intense training for him. At first, it does take a bit getting used to, but eventually, he is able to learn Kaioken pretty quickly, actually. King Kai teaches him the basics, and now Piccolo has to work on perfecting it more and more, trying to use it at higher and higher levels. The best part is, Goku already did this all on his own. He didn't need to go to King Kai to get more training with it. King Kai says he can go back to Earth, and it probably would be better for him. King Kai can only teach him so much, and at a certain point, the gravity of this planet isn't really going to have an effect on him. But he has a gravity chamber on Earth. He could use that, train with people there that are already stronger. And with all that, he can improve Kaioken on his own. He believes Piccolo can do it. He is pretty smart after all. And with his advantage of regeneration, this could help him even further. So, he does return to Earth, going back to his normal training with everyone, and they're glad to see that he has this new power for himself. But he's also going to spend some time training alone too, using the gravity chamber at least whenever Vegeta's not using it for himself. Obviously, he can handle times 10 with ease. He needs to go up beyond that. First to times 50, then 100, then 200. He needs to use as much gravity as possible, not only to make himself stronger, but to improve Kaioken. Combining Kaioken training with high gravity training is really going to make it tough for him, but it'll mean he'll see significant gains as well. Now with that brief backstory out of the way, let's skip forward a bit, up to when the androids actually arrive. For the sake of the story, let's say their introduction goes exactly like normal. Goku's heart virus kicks in, 19 is killed, and 20 is able to escape and then activate 17 and 18. Oh yeah, and Trunks is back. He's glad to see that everyone's training has paid off. But he is concerned about these other androids. He's seen that Vegeta's had his fun, and Vegeta's definitely not going to be a match for these androids. Now it's time for Piccolo to show off his power. He's able to go to really high levels with Kaioken, and one of the best levels he has is times 50. It's basically around the same strength as Super Saiyan. Of course, he could go beyond that, but this is the most efficient in his eyes. It doesn't have as much stamina drain as the higher levels, but it gives him a huge boost in power still. The group's actually amazed at Piccolo's strength. He might be one of the strongest here, not just because of Kaioken, but his training helped his base in general. Although, even with this massive boost in power, two androids together are still too much. Maybe if the group worked all together with Piccolo there, they could take on one of the androids, but with both of them combined, that's not gonna work. We saw how it went originally, and even with Piccolo's strength increase here, it's not going to cause much difference. But at least he's able to gauge his strength here, and they're able to do more to the androids than they did before, which was essentially nothing. And it still kind of is essentially nothing, but hey, at least they're not completely decimated. But these androids really are a big threat. He was barely able to injure them. He only left a couple scratches, while the androids are so far ahead of him, and they were basically taunting everyone the entire time. They didn't even have to strain themselves and use full power or whatever. But Piccolo knows what he must do now. He ends up fusing with Kami like normal. And obviously I've already made it significantly stronger than before. But this, with Kami fusing in him, this is gonna heavily change things in the story. With Kaioken times 50 before fusing, he was able to kind of take on the androids. Even going beyond that to times 100, he was able to leave a few marks like I said. But the androids are still so far ahead. But now that he fused with Kami, combined with the fact that his base is stronger anyways, he's the strongest in the group, and this already happened in the main story anyways. He already did become the strongest by this point. But now, the gap is even wider, like, significantly wider. There's only one way I could really display this, by showing his fight with the androids again. Well, first he of course encounters Cell, but Cell's crafty and is able to escape quickly. Piccolo would have decimated him regardless, even without his power-ups here. But then he goes to face off against the androids once more. First is his fight against Android 17. In the main story, they are even. And now, Piccolo is stronger in base, plus he has Kaioken. He doesn't even need to use Kaioken times 2, he's already above Android 17. Of course, 17 has infinite energy, but even without using Kaioken, Piccolo has more strength regardless. He doesn't even need to use his full power. He's amazed. He knew fusing with Kami would give him a huge boost, but not like this. 17 is getting pushed back more and more, and 18 decides that she needs to join it. He's fighting both of the androids at once, and he goes only into Kaioken times 2. Just Kaioken times 2. And that's enough to make him stronger than both of them combined. Not just stronger, faster, more defensive. Combine that with his brilliant techniques and fighting style. He's taking on the androids effortlessly. And amidst the fight, his power is so strong that he doesn't even know how to contain it himself, and he accidentally ends up killing Android 17 before he wants to. Oh, well that's good. So he defeated one of the androids, and now there's only 2 left. 17's death only angers 18, making her enraged beyond belief, and 16 ends up joining in too. He needs to fight even before Goku arrives. He recognizes that Piccolo's a huge threat. He knew once he came here and he scanned him and saw that it wasn't actually Piccolo. It was a new Namekian essentially. But this is worse than he expected. 16 is definitely stronger than the other 2 androids, but still, Piccolo's able to take him and 18 on at the same time. But then he senses something nearby. It's Cell. Great, 3 androids at once. But this shouldn't be that bad. And he does something interesting. He splits himself into 2. And it cuts his power in half, but then each of the clones powers up into Kaioken, using Kaioken times 4. So there's basically 2 Piccolos that are twice as strong as normal. Easy math, Piccolo divided by 2 times 4. But recognizing how big of a threat Cell is, he needs to make this quick. One of his clones finishes off Android 18, then only taking on Android 16 alone. The other Piccolo decides to fight Cell, and Cell is amazed too. Piccolo notes that Cell is stronger, but Cell can also see that Piccolo is stronger, much stronger than before, even when he split himself up into 2. But Cell is pissed beyond belief. He sees that the androids are dead, 17 and 18 at least. 16 is gonna do him no good. He's mechanical purely. So Cell has no option here. He needs to absorb Piccolo. He needs to stab him, take all of his power. That's the only way he can get stronger, but even then, he won't be able to attain perfection. In a fit of rage, he powers up, showing more power than even he knew he had. The other Piccolo finishes off Android 16 around the same time, and someone then attacks Cell from behind. He turns around, seeing another Piccolo. Both of the Piccolos attack at once. And then, each Piccolo splits into 2 once again. Also buffing Kaioken. He's being attacked by 4 Piccolos. Of course, that means their power is cut into 4. But it doesn't matter. Each of them is using Kaioken, even going into times 20, which is effortless for Piccolo. Even while he's split, that just shows how strong he is with this. And everyone can sense Piccolo's power from far away. Ten's even watching nearby too, thinking Piccolo might need help, but he was completely wrong. He's hovering over the island and watches as 4 Piccolos effortlessly fight Cell. And then something amazing happens. Within an instant, all the 4 Piccolos merge into 1 again. He can tell he doesn't need this much power, but he's gonna use it anyways. He just wants to test his limits. He goes on the Kaioken times 100, and it seems he has no issue doing this at all. Of course, his power is amazing, but Piccolo is essentially blinding by this point. His aura is massive, encapsulating the entire island. The red glow can even be seen far away at Kame House. And with a single attack, a well-placed Masenko, Cell is completely and utterly obliterated, and with how much power Piccolo is using, it doesn't even leave a single bit of him behind. Cell's not gonna regenerate from this. Piccolo has taken victory, not only over the other androids, but Cell too. Everyone watching from the lookout is completely astounded. Even from within the room of spirit and time, Vegeta and Trunks can tell what's going on. That's how huge his power was. Of course, even with the androids gone, Goku and Gohan still want to go in there and train a little bit. They do need to get ahead of Vegeta and Trunks after all. And the best part is, Trunks still did get the power that he needed, so he can go back and defeat the androids on his own. He doesn't even need to use the self-destruct remote like they were planning. But really, Piccolo is that strong? They never expected this from him. Well, he's done a bunch of amazing things before, so they're not too surprised. So of course this is going to have huge consequences later on. First of all, the androids are going to remain dead. So, sorry Krillin, he's not going to marry Android 18 here. But he'll probably still find a girlfriend anyways. I mean, he hasn't had an issue with that before, and that's not really a big deal either way. More importantly, there's the fact that Goku is still alive. He didn't get killed, and he and Gohan still got their training in. They probably wouldn't have been training as hard, but they definitely wouldn't have been slacking off either. So maybe he's not around the same strength that he was, but he still is close, and he has achieved a more efficient form of Super Saiyan. And since Piccolo's used the Kami too, he goes back to King Kai. I mean, he can go whenever he wants, and Dende's able to grant him permission. Oh yeah, Dende still does become a guardian after all. But even then, Piccolo could do whatever he wants. He's part Kami. He's able to go between Otherworld, showing King Kai what he's capable of, and King Kai's amazed. He pushed Kaioken to that level, and Piccolo knows he can go beyond that. Times 200 isn't out of reach. Maybe even beyond that. He even ends up learning the Spirit Bomb while he's there, wanting to learn whatever he can from King Kai. Kaioken was a huge help, and that Spirit Bomb thing that Goku used was pretty cool, so maybe he can make use of it too. With Goku alive, this does make things very good on Earth too. For one, he's actually there when Goten's born, but also, he's gonna be around Gohan a lot more, and probably rub off on him a bit. Gohan probably wouldn't slack off on training, especially with Piccolo there too being much more motivated as well. With both Piccolo and Goku there encouraging him, this is really gonna motivate Gohan. And even Goten a bit too, because Goku's there the entire time. He's not just gonna have to train with Chi-Chi. He has Gohan, Piccolo, and Goku. And of course this will affect Trunks too. But there's also Vegeta. Without Goku dead, Vegeta has no resentment because he can fight Goku whenever he wants. They can settle the score whenever Vegeta feels the need to. Everyone's gonna be stronger besides Goku because Goku can't just train 24/7 like he did in Otherworld. And he's not gonna have access to some of the things he had there. He's never gonna learn Fusion, and he probably won't even tap into Super Saiyan 3 just yet. Maybe he'll know there's a level beyond Super Saiyan 2, but first he'll have to actually access that. And sometime over the 7 years, they probably would find a way to do so. While Piccolo just continues to improve Kaioken for himself, while also getting a better grip on his regeneration, making Kaioken that much more efficient. And you can probably see where I'm going with this. So I know it's kind of a joke in my what ifs that the Buu Saga never happens, and yeah, as sad as I am to say, it's not gonna happen here. I don't have anything against the Buu Saga, it's just that it's kind of easily avoidable. Especially with Vegeta being in such a good mood here, he's not gonna turn into Majin Vegeta, and Piccolo definitely couldn't get possessed either. And with how strong everyone is, the Boar's not gonna be an issue. Piccolo could probably take him on with ease. Hell, I'd even say Goku, Vegeta, or Gohan could do the same too. And with that, they're able to avoid Buu's revival pretty easily, which means the tournament can go on as normal. So let's kind of skip the tournament and go into the Final Four. Even if there's no Buu Saga, we could at least have a tournament saga. The Final Four goes as follows. One of the brackets is Gohan versus Piccolo, and the other is Goku versus Vegeta. Piccolo's excited for this fight, an all-out battle between master and student. And surprisingly, Gohan has grown really strong. By now he does have Super Saiyan 2. And he probably is even beyond where he was originally because he is training more. And I love Great Saiyaman, so he still is Great Saiyaman too. There's no reason to change that here either. If anything, being the Great Saiyaman and being around Videl motivates him even more for training. But still, even with Gohan's insane strength, even Piccolo is still beyond him. He does have to push himself, using Kaioken times 200, even going beyond that. But with how effortlessly he can use it now, it's not as bad as you might think. He ends up defeating Gohan, and then next is Goku versus Vegeta. With them training together pretty consistently and around the same level, this is going to be a very close fight. And no, Goku's not holding back here. He's actually going all out, as is Vegeta. The two have fought before during the 7 years, but Vegeta's prepared now. He feels he could win against Kakarot finally. And he has been training very hard. And even though Goku's won most of the fights against him before, as this battle goes on, Vegeta slowly gets the upper hand. It's a very long and strenuous battle, but in the end, Vegeta surprisingly ends up beating Goku. Damn, he didn't know Vegeta actually got ahead of him. But this will mean Goku's gonna push himself even further in the future. And it was really close after all. The two are both very beat up and out of energy. And they're both content with the fight. It shows where they are in terms of strength. But also in terms of strategy. That also helped Vegeta get an upper hand. Not that Goku didn't have any strategy himself. It's just Vegeta out-strategized him and overpowered him slightly, very slightly. But now for the most important match, the finals, Piccolo versus Vegeta. Vegeta fully heals up. They have a Senzu Bean and he uses it. He wants to fight Piccolo at full strength. If he was able to defeat Gohan that easily, he's definitely going to be a challenge. Piccolo was actually surprised that Vegeta won. He was kind of looking forward to a rematch with Goku. After the 23rd World Tournament, he'd want to win this one. But Vegeta, that's still a good opponent. This will be an interesting battle. Vegeta powers up, going into Super Saiyan 2 right away. He tells Piccolo not to hold back at all. Alright, Piccolo powers up, shouting Kaioken, times 500. Wait, times 500? Goku's amazed, he's only ever gone up to times 20. He's kind of been sleeping on Kaioken since Namek. And Piccolo's at times 500? Piccolo tells Vegeta this is his favorite level right now. Of course he could go beyond it, but this is the most efficient without completely ripping his body apart. The aura alone generates a shockwave so massive that even the audience can feel it, creating strong gusts of wind and illuminating the entire area red once again. Vegeta told him not to hold back after all, so he's not. The two clash, clashing so quickly that no one can even see what's going on. The fight ascends up into the sky. Vegeta can't hit Piccolo at all, he dodges so quickly. But Piccolo, he's able to hit Vegeta a lot, and each hit is powerful, very powerful. Slowly and surely, Vegeta's being worn out. But he backs up. Piccolo's definitely ahead, but he's gonna finish this. He charges up a massive final flash, wanting to see how Piccolo's gonna counter this. But Piccolo tells Vegeta it's already over. And then Vegeta looks up. Around him, he's surrounded by a bunch of ki blasts. He tries to launch the final flash, but it's already too late. The Hell's Own grenade descends upon him, creating a massive explosion above the arena. Vegeta falls to the ground, defeated. Even though he didn't win the tournament, it's fine. That was a great fight, and he didn't expect Piccolo to be that strong. But Piccolo's impressed with Vegeta's strength too, as well as everyone else. He is very worn out here, and he had to max out Kaioken to times 500. Well, I say max out, but he could probably go beyond that. He's still working towards higher levels, and he knows he could still improve it even more than it has now. But where will he go next in terms of power? Well, we'll be saving that for later if we continue this story. This is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this scenario? Or what do you think will happen next time if we continue? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try out that like over from the beginning of the video so we can get another part to this scenario. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads on my channel, including another part to the scenario if I continue it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.